And this is our Ask a Fool segment where you can ask us questions and we'll respond to you. Today we have a question from Chris asking, what is a good ETF to invest in for 2013? Is real estate good? Thanks for the question, Chris. And as we've seen, ETFs are exploding in popularity versus previously influential investing types such as mutual funds. And the reason for that is simple. Their expense fees are really low. So if you want something that can track the market, ETFs are one of the best ways to invest passively. Now, without knowing your particular circumstances, it's really impossible for me to suggest a specific ETF, but I will go through some of the big names to look at in the year ahead. First of all, you've got the SPY, which is an index that tracks the S&P 500, has large assets under management, and a very low expense ratio. So you're going to get pretty much the same performance as the S&P 500. Second, I would suggest the VIG, VIG. That's an ETF by Vanguard, which once again has relatively low expense ratios, but instead will focus on relatively defensive consumer stocks and pay out a nice dividend. And finally, I would also note the VTI, another Vanguard index. And this is a ETF which gives you exposure beyond the S&P 500 to smaller and middle cap companies as well. Beyond that, I would also say when you look at these kinds of ETFs, sometimes you don't get that global exposure. So again, if you're looking for a lower expense ratio ETF, Vanguard has the VT ETF, which you could look at to be able to get some total world exposure. And finally, the question, is real estate good? Well, real estate's been on a bit of a rally recently, so it's obviously in the crosshairs and people are looking at it. I would just say if you're adding real estate to a portfolio, keep it as a smaller position. I've got REITs, for example. My 401k, I keep it to about 5% of my total retirement portfolio. On that front, I would recommend looking at something like an IYR. It's a ETF from Dow Jones, and it has companies like Simon as top holdings, so you're going to get some nice REIT exposure. Anyways, there's my look at ETFs for 2013. For all your investing news, make sure to come back to Fool.com. Fool on.
People on the show may have interest in the stocks they talk about, and the Motley Fool may have formal recommendations for or against. Don't buy or sell stocks based solely on what you hear.